First, I want to ask a couple of questions. Parliament is in session, but do you know who has been disrupting Parliament for the last few weeks? Usually, if there is disruption in Parliament, and I used to be a member of the Rajya Sabha, the opposition will disrupt Parliament because they want certain issues to be discussed. Just like we were demanding a joint parliamentary committee to probe the Adani scam. But in the last 2-3 weeks, disruption is orchestrated by the ruling party, which is unheard of. It is the responsibility of the ruling party to make Parliament function, to yield and cooperate with the opposition for the smooth functioning. But the ruling party is disrupting Parliament. Along with this, a successful visit to Cambridge University and the United Kingdom. He, when asked in the UK about the state of he said, it is an internal matter, it is for us to address and resolve, to solve the problems that we are facing. Okay. Instead of focusing on that argument, because he was invited and given such a warm reception, the BJP is alleging, out of the blue, they have come up with this allegation that some Rahul Gandhi's statements are an attack on other backward classes. On what basis have they made that statement? They said that the statement that Sri Rahul Gandhi made in a public rally during the 2019 campaign in Kolkata, Mr. Rahul Gandhi's statement was somehow discrediting OBC. Mr. Rahul Gandhi made a statement where he said, "Ye teen log," right? He said, Nirav Modi, Lalit Modi. Okay, they certainly, the description of thief is perfectly appropriate to them. With the other, we have enough evidence, whether the Rafael scam, whether the ongoing series of Adani scams, you can make your own judgment about the impression, etc. Now, this is background to what I am coming to. Why is the BJP behaving like this? Why have they tried to distract the attention of the people of India? And what are they distracting them from? That is the question we are asking. Well, the answer is very clear. Industrial conglomerate, and he asked some very hard-hitting questions. He asked a very fundamental question. Does Mr. Adani's wealth come because of what Sri Narendra Modi and his government have done for him through favoritism, through arm twisting, through misuse of agencies? Is this the reason for this gentleman's phenomenal rise and success? And at that point, some shelter country like Mauritius or Cayman Islands, and bring that money back. This is called round tripping, and bring that money back and put it into the company to boost its stock price. So this regular round tripping, Mr. Gowda Adani has a brother, Vinod Adani, who sits in Dubai, and his all this manipulation. And then when the stock price has gone up, they will pledge that for huge loans from public sector, public, and force the LIC and EPFO to invest. That is your money and my money. These are public entities to invest in the Adani group. So there's a massive scam that has been happening, misusing the office of the Prime Minister. I'm not making this statement lightly. Just think about the multiple ways we have already seen where the Prime Minister has been very, very cozy with a range of crony capitalists. Okay. You saw right up front when he had just become Prime Minister, he went to Paris, France, and there he renegotiated the Rafael contract. The Rafael contract was negotiated initially under the Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, along with technology transfers. What did this Prime Minister do? He took Mr. Anil Ambani, he took Mr. Gowda Madani, a bunch of industrialists there, and worked with the French government and said, no, we will cancel the old order without a tender, without following the processes. What he did was, he said, I will buy so many off the shelf, and whatever offset production has to happen, he could give that to Anil Ambani, who had no business expertise, any knowledge of this field of defense manufacturing, especially of high quality aircraft and fighter aircraft, and he basically, and for that matter, Mr. Anil Ambani, it has also been a spectacular failure as a businessman. Okay, from where his wealth was to where he is today, you know what is that story. But that is whom this Prime Minister entrusted a crucial element of India's national defense. He entrusted that to a failed businessman with no background in aircraft manufacturing. That was the first example. You have seen pictures of Sri Narendra Modi sitting in Gowda Madani's planes. During his election campaign in 2014, he used his friend Gowda Madani's plane to go everywhere. And you must remember that Gowda Madani's spectacular rise in Gujarat was because of Chief Minister Narendra Modi, who gave away a lot of public land at throwaway prices, gave him an opportunity to build that Andhra port. So this is a long-standing relationship. It is just coming out in the public eye now. You've seen other examples. In Sri Lanka, there was a government-to-government project that was supposed to take place in the electricity sector. The electricity regulator there said, we have received a call from the Prime Minister of India saying this project must be given to Gowda Madani, his company, and it should be treated as a government-to-government project. Since when did Mr. Gowda Madani get elected and become part of the government of India? Okay, so that is another example. Another example in Bangladesh. There was supposed to be a power plant set up there, and instead of that, Gowda Madani decided to do it in Jharkhand, and then they broke all sorts of rules, including SEZ rules, to give SEZ status to Gowda Madani's power plant. And then he was able to charge a huge amount extra to Bangladesh for providing this power. So everywhere you see these sorts of examples. Even worse, the misuse of government agencies. It is outrageous. In this state, you have seen who owned Krishnapatnam port earlier? Some Andhra person. What happened to that? There was a raid on that company, and that port was sold to Gowda Madani. Same thing with Gangavaram. Same thing with GVK Group, and they used to own and run Mumbai Airport. They were also raided. Immediately after that, they sell out to Adani Group. The media, you're all from the media, you know the story. NDTV was raided. Who owns it now? Gowda Madani. Yesterday, Quint, which belonged to Raghav Behr, has been sold to Gowda Madani for 49 crores. And is Gowda Madani a veteran in the media industry? No. What he's doing is, and what the BJP and Prime Minister Modi are trying to do, in this democracy, they are trying to, really squeeze freedom of speech and trying to squeeze every institution, including the free press, to make sure that their misdeeds and their crimes will not be reported, will not come to the attention of the public. And the Prime Minister can say he's a fakir and he will walk away with his jola. Sorry. He is spending a lot of his time and effort helping his crony capitalist friends. Number one of them is Mr. Gowda Madani. So, coming back to what has been going on recently and why we're doing this press conference, whatever you're seeing in the last few weeks is a desperate attempt on the part of the Prime Minister and the Bharatiya Janata Party to cover up the scams that are coming out in plain international view of Sri Gowda Madani as a result of the Prime Minister's interference, misuse of ED to ensure that whatever Mr. Adani wants, he gets. You've seen this. You're a producing agricultural state. Well, whenever farmers are about to get a good price for onions or something like that, or for dal, you will suddenly see that a contract has been given for imports. And who gets that contract? Adani. Okay, so the same game is going on wherever money is to be made. Mr. Adani will step in and Mr. Modi, the Prime Minister, will support. The latest budget, Mr. Adani decides to get into hydrogen energy. The budget says we will give so many thousands of crores to incentivize and promote hydrogen energy. So if you think this is because of global warming that the government is concerned, no. That is not the answer. This is a way of putting taxpayers, your money and my money, into the hands of his favorite industrialist, crony capitalist, Gowda Adani. All this information is now coming out in the public domain, and the same issues were raised by Sri Rahul Gandhi in his speech during emotional times to the President's address. Similarly, in the upper house, our Congress President and leader of the opposition in the Rajya Sabha, Sri Mallikarjun Kharge, in his speech also laid out the exact same arguments and some more. Now, you all know that the proceedings of Parliament are supposed to be public, supposed to be televised, live, and the record of that should be available on the Parliament website. If you were to go to the Parliament website and look for that speech anymore, you will find that apart from saying hello and thank you, everything else practically has been cut out. On what grounds? I have been an MP, I know what is parliamentary and what is not parliamentary. I know that members of Parliament have special protections for what they say on the floor of the House. There is absolutely no basis for expunging factual information, for expunging questions that have been asked by Sri Rahul Gandhi, Mallikarjun Kharge to the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister's speech also you heard, he did not even answer one of these questions. He went off on other tangents, talking about Nehru's surname, all sorts of nonsense, without paying attention to giving us even one single answer to the questions, direct questions that Sri Rahul Gandhi and Sri Mallikarjun Kharge had asked. Congress Party has been doing a series of press conferences where we are asking the Prime Minister, there is a famous movie, Hum Aapke Hai Kaun. This is a series of questions, Hum Adani Ke Hai Kaun, that is our we are asking, and we are providing information on a continuous basis. See, the end result of all this, right, when we find out that they do not report properly to SEBI, but SEBI does not regulate them and punish them, what is the meaning of this? SEBI has a very crucial role in the management of the stock market. It has to promote stock ownership and growth because this is a valuable way for companies to raise money through selling shares. At the same time, it has to police and do a good job to make sure there are no mistakes being made, because that's when you have a Harshad Mehta scam, that's when you have a Ketan Pare scam, that's when you have a Adani Group scam. Alright? So they're not doing their job. And whenever this happens, when it's pretty clear that bodies are not, which are supposed to regulate, are not doing their job, that means that the institutions that we have set up and nurtured and strengthened all these years under the UPA and the Congress governments, that they're all being destroyed just to please and take care of one gentleman and his phenomenal wealth, ill-gotten wealth. Okay? Now, so what does the government do? They come up with these distractions, and Shri Amit Shah once, in the context of CAA, used the phrase, chronology samajh lijiye, he said. Follow the chronology. I will read out one chronology. On April 13th, 2019, Rahul Gandhi made an election speech in Gowda. I refer to that. I told you I was there personally. On April 16th, one BJP MLA, Purnesh Modi, files a complaint in Surat, Gujarat. When the High Court granted stay when in March 22, 1 year ago. Then February 7th, Rahul Gandhi made a speech questioning the relationship between Mr. Modi and Mr. Adani. And February 16th, immediately after that, the complainant goes to the High Court and says, vacate the stay. Immediately, next week, the trial resumes. And in March 23rd, the trial court convicts Rahul Gandhi and gives him the maximum possible sentence of 2 years, which is possible in criminal defamation, and gives him 30 days, gives him bail, but fundamentally it's a conviction for 2 years. As soon as that happens, there is a law which says that any MP convicted of a minimum of 2 years or more crime automatically will be subject to disqualification. Alright. So then the next day, within 24 hours, this disqualification should normally be done by the President of India. Within 24 hours, the Lok Sabha Secretariat issues a notice saying, you are hereby disqualified. To Rahul Gandhi, ex-MP, you are hereby disqualified. And 3-4 days after that, day before yesterday, the Housing Ministry issues an eviction order saying, time to go. Within 1 month, we are going to take back the house. Alright? Now, we have a legal cell chairman here. He will tell you how courts proceed. This is not the way a court proceeds. If you go a little deeper into that, what happened with the previous judge who was very balanced, who was reserved his judgment, and then how he was suddenly shunted out, this new judge brought in. There are all sorts of stories that people are raising. I don't want to question the judicial system, but if you talk to the common man on the street, they will say one simple thing, that the government is rigging the judicial system to target its principal opponent, Sri Rahul Gandhi, because after the extraordinary success of the Gowda Yatra, which I participated in, which Padma Shri participated from Kanyakumari to Kashmir, you've seen that people's affection for Rahul Gandhi, people's respect for the agenda of Bharat Jodo, bringing people together, in contrast to the division, Bharat Jodo of BJP, which is always trying to hook up Hindu, Muslim, Hindu, Christian, whatever divisions that they can come up with. So, they are frightened. And they are really worried that their scams of Adani and Prime Minister Modi will come out in the public. So they're doing everything possible to divert attention. And we are not going to let this diversionary tactic succeed. We are going to launch from today. The Jai Bharat Satyagraha. And the Jai Bharat Satyagraha will run for a few weeks, where across the country we will continue to raise these issues. Across the country we will continue to demand justice. Across the country we will say that you cannot kill democracy in broad daylight like you're doing, Prime Minister Modi, Bharatiya Janata Party leaders. What you're doing is absolutely counter to the democratic values and constitutional values that the people of India, that the leaders, Dr. Ambedkar, Prime Minister Nehru, Dr. Rajeev Prasad, Sardar Patel, every one of them were the kinds of institutions that we built up. You are destroying them. We will not let that happen. You are messing with Parliament and parliamentary procedures. We will not let that happen. You are misusing the government to favor your crony capitalists. We will not let that happen. Let me tell you, we are going to go from door to door, from place to place, and we will ensure that justice will happen, that the people of India will see through the dramas being enacted by the Prime Minister and his drama troupe. We will ensure we are not afraid of prison sentences. When Sri Rudraju mentioned my father and brother, uncle, they are freedom fighters. I grew up on stories of their participation in the freedom movement, of them going to jail. My father was in jail at the age of 15. My uncle during the Quit India movement as a college student leader. So that is the kind of inspirational heritage that we have. Look around you at the photos in this room. Jawaharlal Nehru ji, Indira Gandhi ji, Mahatma Gandhi ji, all have spent and sacrificed for the country. Rajeev Gandhi ji has sacrificed his life for the country. We have gone to jail before for against the British, against Tanashahi, dictatorship, attacks on democracy, and we are ready to do that again because we will save democracy because that is what the people of India deserve and that is what is the tradition of the Congress Party and what we will continue to offer to the people of India. A thriving democracy with freedom of expression, with the ability to protest freely, with the ability to take along every single Indian rather than what the BJP does, which is divide and rule and bring back all kinds of unconstitutional agendas. We were going to counter that, and Sri Rahul Gandhi is going to lead us, Sri Kharge ji is going to lead us, Srimati Sonia Gandhi is going to lead us, and I can assure you, today they have announced the code of conduct and the calendar of events for the Karnataka election. I am from Karnataka, and the first response to the BJP is going to come with a resounding victory of the Congress Party in Karnataka state, and you will see later in the year in Chhattisgarh, in Madhya Pradesh, in Rajasthan, we are starting in Karnataka a wave of victories for the Congress that will wash away the BJP in 2024, and then you can refer to Prime Minister Modi as ex-Prime Minister Modi, and once we are back, we will ensure that all this golmaal that Sri Gautam Adani and his gang have done, that will be exposed, and the government will do whatever it can to misuse agencies, misuse and muzzle media. They will do whatever they can to try and counter us, but we will prevail and we shall overcome. Together, we shall make this democracy flourish once again. Thank you very much. I'm happy to take questions.
Why did you not go to High Court for stay?
The legal process is going on right now.
Then you are going.
I expect that it will happen maybe as early as this week.
Sir, in Andhra Pradesh, any of the ruling party or the opposition party leaders are not supporting the disqualification of Rahul Gandhi. You okay?
Actually, what you found is even across political party lines, people have come together, parties have come together. Even political parties whom we are opposed to, say KCR's DRS now, TRS, right? They have also come forward and said this is an injustice, this is not the correct way to do things. Similarly, the Aam Aadmi Party, with whom we have, we are competing in Punjab and Delhi, etc. They have also, Kejriwal has also denounced this. They know, today it's Rahul Gandhi, tomorrow it's them. Once you let the Prime Minister and the BJP misuse every institution, cook up false cases, misuse the legal process, then, soon every opposition leader will be disqualified. And the BJP wants to crush the opposition that way. But that's not going to happen. So opposition unity is getting stronger, and I think we will actually see strategic alliances across the length and breadth of the country. Remember, in the last election, some 37% of the people voted for BJP, some more for their allies. But more than 50% of India voted for other political parties against Sri Narendra Modi and the Bharatiya Janata Party. That vote was split in many ways. Now, in India, historically, there have been times when everyone comes together, especially in situations like what is developing in India today, where only the opposition is targeted, where if any opposition leader joins the BJP, until then they will have all sorts of allegations against them. There will be cases against them, like Himanta Biswa Sarma, who is now Chief Minister of Assam. There were lots of cases against him and allegations daily from the BJP. The moment he joined the BJP, he went through on Ganga Snan. All those allegations disappeared, and the cases, nothing has happened. The files have been mysteriously burnt down in some fire. These sorts of situations is what happens. And only the opposition is targeted, journalists in jail when they haven't even reported on an issue. You saw that with that couple. So you see this sort of approach from the government. So everyone has realized that we have to come together and we have to push back and we have to bring about a change in ruling party or ruling coalition in the 2024 elections. That's what we have to do to save India's democracy.
Some opposition parties are not coming with it. What is the reason?
No, I'm saying they are coming.
Party, Samajwadi Party, Trinamool Congress are not coming forward with
No.
Congress.
On this issue, we have seen that what Mr. Modi's actions have done is that they have actually united the opposition. Everyone has come. All these parties have come and taken part in the all-party meetings, in the all-party protests, in the all-party demands for functioning of parliament. Some of them don't want a JPC, they want a Supreme Court probe. There are some differences like that. But everyone realizes that one by one, this Prime Minister and Amit Shah will target and try and put everyone in jail. That is what is going on. So people have come together and, nobody wants to see democracy quashed and stamped on this way. That's it.
Why Congress Party and Rahul Gandhi repeatedly taking the name of Sarkar as anti-freedom?
See, that is not what, that's the wrong interpretation. Alright? See, Sri Savarkar has his own history. Alright? What are we focusing on? We are focusing on two aspects. One, the apology that he has given. Right? Why did he go to jail? Because he was a freedom fighter also. Okay, so I'm not taking away from that. I'm from a freedom fighter's family. Anyone who is a freedom fighter will acknowledge that. That is not the issue. What happened later? One is the apology to the British. So that is the point that he raises. He says, none of us ever apologized. We went to jail and we had the courage and the strength to stay on in jail until we were eventually released. Okay. Once again, after that, what did Mr. Savarkar do? He was a big campaigner for, what shall we say, this argument that there is a two nations here, that Hindus and Muslims cannot live together. He is one of the people who are responsible for the partition of India. You blame Jinnah, we blame equally in the people like Savarkar who pushed for this argument that Hindus and Muslims could not live together. Right? That's one part. Second, Savarkar is an accused in the assassination of Mahatma Gandhi. Alright? So these are all historical facts. He happened to be let off. Okay? But the very fact is, if you look at the trial pictures, you will see Nathuram Godse sitting in front, and behind in the last row, amongst the accused, is Savarkar himself. And the title Veer, he gave himself. Okay? It's not something that the country gave him or Tagore gave Mahatma, the title Mahatma to Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi. Not like that. He wrote a book and he called himself Veer. That is what the story is. Please check it out. So, with due respect to his track record as a freedom fighter, what he did later, apologies, as well as his divisive politics, these are things that we have a strong opposition to. It is in fact, that viewpoint is unconstitutional. We believe in a secular country, and anyone who says we should make India a Hindu nation or any other kind of nation is going against the constitution of India. That's not much we can do. We will sweep. We will sweep. I can assure you. There are many things that are going on. First, the state BJP government has got a terrible reputation. Okay, the Contractors Association sent a note to the Prime Minister of India saying that these ministers are all demanding 40% commission. All right. Okay. And many of these ministers, last time also, there was one chap was caught with one big cash counting machine in his house. Okay. Now recently, the Lokayukta raided a BJP MLA and they found 6-7 crores in his house. Okay. And he said, oh yeah, I'm a rich man. Anyone like me will have lots of crores in their house. Okay. So these sorts of stories are continuously coming out. There are people that came out. You've seen the Paytm ad. There was something called PayCM with Mr. Basuraj Bomai's face. And people loved it because it reflected the truth. That's all this government is indulging in brazen roof. First of all, it's an illegitimate government. It did not have a majority. This is what the BJP has been doing across the length and breadth of the country. If some other party has come to power, it will poach their MLAs, threaten their MLAs, and do that Operation Kamala and get the government to fall. Nobody questions. You will say Chanakya Niti. This is not Chanakya Niti. This is destruction of people's mandate. Okay? This is, we should be outraged that this sort of thing is happening. Okay? And that's what they do. But if you see, in our government in Chhattisgarh, we have a 2/3 majority, so they're not able to do these kinds of tricks. Similarly, in Karnataka, we expect to get as large a majority as that because the people are disgusted. Second, if you look at the economy, right, the Prime Minister will say, I will make India a $5 trillion economy after Amritkal is over in 3080 or something like that, right? Everything is pushed to, centenary year, double centenary year. Okay, what have you done in the last 10 years? You brought in demonetization. You destroyed the formal economy and MSMEs. You have destroyed employment prospects for people. You have destroyed, what is happening on investment in this country. You gave the private sector a huge tax cut. Have they invested money in this country? No. So basically what is happening is the economy is in terrible shape. All they do is grand announcements. You saw through that when COVID people needed help and relief. They were not there for the migrant workers. And then they said, world beating, 10% of GDP we're giving. And next day, even all the banks, the investment banks, etc., they said, sorry, it's only 1%. Where's 10% of GDP? Where's 1% of GDP? This is the kind of nonsense that they continuously give. This is the kind of nonsense, unfortunately, that you all print without doing a fact check. All right? And I urge you, don't let this happen. Okay? Make sure that if they make a statement, that you fact check it. All right? Because then only the viewer, then only the reader will know what the truth is. And the media, the free press, the reason you exist is